Hello and welcome to another Vast vlog post. Today's topic is what after school activities are right for my child. There are so many different after school activities in the educational system, although your options might be limited depending on what school you go to. If you go to a really big school, then there's going to be a lot more options. If you go to a smaller school, well, then there's a lot less clubs and sports for students to be involved in because there's not as many kids that can get into those clubs, so the options kind of just shrink. It also depends on what grade level your child is at. When they are younger, they tend to have less after school activities available because, well, kids don't really have a lot of independence at that age, and it's really up to whether you can drive them there or pick them up from the club. And as they get older, they can drive themselves, so more activities become available typically in high school, but there still are after school activities available in the younger grades as well. Sports are a great after school activity that are typically available at any grade, although again it's going to depend what school you go to and what grade you are in because they tend to increase the amount of sports and different types of sports available when you are in high school. But there is normally sports available at all grades. And sports are great because you get exercise in it and that makes you healthy, and you also learn a lot of important skills like teamwork and communication, collaboration, and decision making in sports. So they are really great after school activity that you can get your students in. You normally have to work together with a team to achieve your common goal. Maybe it's getting that ball in the soccer net. That's your common goal. So you need to work with your team and communicate with them on how we're going to achieve this goal. And you also need to make split-second decisions about who you're going to pass the ball to, or are you going to make the shot, and what are you going to be doing. And that's a really important life skill because you need to make decisions every day for the rest of your life, and some of them are really big decisions, and you need to get good at making decisions and practicing making those decisions. So that is a good skill that you can learn from sports as an after-school activity. Schools also offer after-school activities like clubs, and they are typically focused on a specific theme or activity that the kids like to participate in. It could be art or they could be all about gaming, and they benefit from these because they are in a place where they're doing something that they love and they're surrounded by people that also love that same thing, and it's a really great sense of community. They feel welcome and accepted, and that's something that is hard to find when you are a kid, especially in the older years when you're a teenager, because things are changing and everybody else is changing and you're just kind of lost. And this could be a great way for them to find somewhere where they don't feel lost and they feel loved and accepted in school and by their peers. Besides that, they also can develop a lot of different skills through the clubs. It depends on what the club is, what the skills are going to be, but typically they're going to be able to learn teamwork and communication skills because the clubs are with people. They're not signing up for a club where it's just them. They are going to have to work with people, and that's a really important skill to have because you have to work with people in almost every single job there is out there. So it's a good place to start. There are lots of different types of clubs. There's art club, student council, book club, drama club, National Honor Society, Family and Career and Community Leaders of America, Future Business Leaders of America, DECA. Oh, there's so many different ones. And again, it depends on what school you go to, what is going to be available. Art club allows students to express themselves through art, which is really fun, and they get to hone in on their art skills and share their interest with other people. And if they are going to be an artist, they can exhibit their work and they can definitely put that on their college applications. And that's another great thing about after school activities is they can all go on job applications or college applications, wherever you're going. It's something to put on them that is going to look good because it shows that you are dedicated to something and that you're involved in something and that you're willing to put your time voluntarily into doing these things. They typically have book clubs at schools, and that's good because you get to practice your reading skills and discuss the books with other people. And this can sometimes be connected to Battle of the Books competitions, which I thought was a lot of fun in elementary school. You have to read all these books, and then you get put into basically like a trivia contest about the books to demonstrate that you really retain that information. And that's a good skill to have as you go throughout life, as well as that you can read and retain the information. You can comprehend it very well. That's something that they test for in the standardized tests, so that's a good one to have. There's drama club, and that allows students to do everything that they've ever wanted to do, right? They want to be a star, and that could be a good way to practice public speaking and just practice being in the arts and get experience in that if that's something that they really are interested in, and it can be a lot of fun as well. There is student council, which is when they basically reenact the government system on a very small scale, and they make decisions for the school normally. They work together, they have teamwork, they practice leadership skills, and they sometimes like sponsor school dances or fundraisers. They do all sorts of different fun things. Student council is really nice and important. You normally have to do some public speaking and that as well. When you run, you have to stand in front of the audience and explain why you think you would be the best choice, and that can help prepare them for an actual role in politics or the government, which is fantastic. But public speaking is important for other reasons as well. We all have to speak probably at funerals or weddings or graduation ceremonies, all different things all the time, so that's a good skill to have. National Honor Society is a club that is going to be more available in high school, but sometimes they have National Junior Honor Societies in middle school, but it just kind of recognizes the students that are the best of the best. You have to have really good grades to get into that, and they do a lot of community service and work on leadership, teamwork, and communication skills as well. So that's a really good one for college applications. There's FCCLA, which is the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, and that is a really good one for developing your leadership skills as well. You normally do some public speaking in that. You can do different projects, and you can really make an impact on your community through community service and that. But that is through the FACE, the Family and Consumer Education, or they like to call it FACS sometimes now, Family and Consumer Sciences classes that you have in school. So it kind of is an extension of that and allows you to apply it more to the real world and practice those skills. So there's like fashion contests because you do the sewing and knitting and things like that. They have cooking competitions. You can practice your knife skills. They have all sorts of different things within that bubble. So that's a really cool one. And they have opportunities for leadership at the state and national level. You can compete. There's a lot of fun stuff in that. And then we have FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, or sometimes it's DECA. It depends on what school you go to. My school had FBLA, the Future Business Leaders of America, but I know other schools that had DECA. And that's similar to FCCLA, except that it's an extension of the business classes, and you can practice your business skills through that. They sometimes run the school store, so they practice running a business, which is a pretty important skill for lots of people out there in the world. And they also have opportunities to compete and be leaders at the state and national level as well. Then there is FFA, which technically, I guess it's a club, but it is not an extracurricular, it is an intracurricular. And it's one of the very few clubs that can say that because it is not extra, it's not a separate part of school. It is within the curriculum. It's part of the agricultural curriculum. It's an essential part by law. So if you take an ag class, technically you're supposed to take FFA as well. It used to stand for Future Farmers of America. It doesn't anymore. It doesn't stand for anything because it's for more than just farmers. It's for anybody who wants to participate and be a part of that. And again, that's similar to FCCLA and FBLA in that it's an extension of the curriculum. and you do a lot of leadership and competitions through it. They have the agri-science fair, they have lots of different speaking contests, they have career development events where you practice those skills just like you would practice your business skills or your life skills in the other clubs. And FFA also has a talent show, so there's a lot of different ways you can compete in there, and they have leadership positions on the state and national level as well as the local level. They do a lot of community service, you give back, you do a lot of fundraising, so that is another really good club that you can get involved in. So those are just some examples of different clubs that you could get involved in or your student could get involved in. It really depends on what school you go to and what grade you're in, what is going to be available to you. There could be lots more, like Model UN is something I see on TV all the time, but I've never actually heard or seen a school that has that in real life, but I'm sure that there are schools that have that out there, and there's a bunch of other different clubs. There can be you could make your own club. Like I made the Earth Day Club, which is where we did activities relating to the earth and a lot of community service activities. A lot of people start their own gaming club where they get together and they play games at school. So if there's not one that fits your needs, you can always make one that does. But overall, these clubs and after school activities help you develop all these different skills. They look good on your college applications and your job applications. They give you a sense of community. So it's really important to get involved and have fun. When you're picking these different clubs, you can base it on what skills you're trying to develop or what's going to look best on your college applications. But it's best to maybe think about what you're actually interested in. If you're trying to develop skills to pursue a certain career, then maybe you should pick one that represents the career that you're going into. And if you're not worried about that so much, just pick one that is fun for you. That's what it's all about, is having a good time. No matter what club you get involved in, you're going to get something out of it. Whether it's that sense of community or the different skills that you can learn through it, you're going to learn those teamwork and communication skills no matter what club that you are involved in. So get out there and have fun. Thank you for tuning in for another VAST blog post.